So today we're talking sprouts, and I love sprouts just because they're so quick, they're so easy to do, anybody can do it. You don't really need any sunlight, you don't really need any special tools. All you really need is a big jar, some sort of mesh lid. You could even use cheesecloth and a rubber band, or just one of these strainers. And the great thing about sprouts is that when you sprout any kind of beans, seeds, legumes, or grains, it helps to increase their nutritional value, and also it helps to enhance their digestibility. And plus, because of the fact that you don't really need any sunlight, they're so great to do during the winter time when there's not really any fresh local fruits or vegetables nearby. You can do sprouts right in your kitchen. It only takes a couple days, it's super easy, and you have great nutrition during the winter time, and it's really pennies per serving. So I'm going to take you through the process. I will show you how I do it. I'll film each day and I'll lump it all into one, and you guys can see how it goes. So for day one, all we have to do is grab a jar. This one that I have here is 1/2 gallon in size, and you could do a little bit of a smaller one or a little bit of a bigger one if you like, and you'll just have to adjust the amount of beans that you use. So what we have to do is open up the jar, and here I have 1/2 cup of mung beans. Pour it in. Fill it up with some water. There we go, that's literally day one. All you have to do is put the beans in the jar with a bunch of water and just let them soak for 12 hours. If you were doing seeds, 5 hours would suffice for soaking, but you could even leave seeds as well for 12 hours. So that's pretty much it for day one. All you have to do is let your beans soak, and then after that, stick this jar somewhere out of direct sunlight or in the dark in your kitchen. I'm just gonna put mine on the countertop. So the beans have been soaking for about 12 hours or overnight, and as you can see, they have soaked up quite a bit of water, and they actually have started to form some tails already. So all we have to do today for day two is just drain and rinse them. After we have rinsed and drained our beans for day two, all we have to do now for the jar method is just, I like to go like this and spread the beans out, and I will lay this jar down on my counter like this. So if you don't have a mesh lid like I do, and you don't have any cheesecloth and a rubber band to use as a mesh lid, you could definitely go about the strainer method. And there are two ways that you could go about doing it. The first way being, everything that we've done so far is the same. You soak the beans in the jar or a bowl. Go ahead and use the strainer as a lid when you strain your beans, and then we'll do everything else the same. Or go ahead and still soak your beans for 12 hours in a jar or a bowl, and then you would empty the beans into the strainer, and then the beans will stay in the strainer, and you keep the strainer propped up in your sink. You'll have to rinse your beans more often because they're more prone to dry out, but it works very well. It is now day 3 of sprouting our mung beans, and as you can see, they have expanded quite a bit and their tails are much longer. So all we have to do today is just rinse and stir them up and then drain them. And I like to use a chopstick and just kind of give them a light stir, just to break up all the ones that might be in the middle that might have clumped together, just to make sure that they all get aerated and that no mold starts forming. There we go. That's pretty much it for day 3. All you have to do is just the rinse, stir, and drain. You'll have to do that one more time later today, and do that midday or before you go to bed. And then now all we have to do is just put them back on the counter like this, and then they should be ready by tomorrow or maybe even later today. It is now day 4 and our sprouts are ready. So all we have to do today is just throw them into a big bowl. And fill the big bowl up with some water. So now that we've got the mung beans in the bowl filled with water, the reason we're doing this is because once the beans have sprouted, the shells have started to come off of the beans. The beans are just white, so the shells are just kind of floating around in the water. So we want to take as much of these little shells out. So now that we've picked out as much of the floating green shells as we could, we will strain this. And after we strained the beans out, I've got a cookie sheet here lined with 2 layers of paper towel, and we will throw the beans on here to let them dry up. Spread them out a little bit. Another layer of paper towel, throw that on top, and then just give them a little bit of a massage. And as you're pat drying them, you want to just kind of look through and see if there are any beans that did not sprout. You want to take those out. Here we go, there's one. So they're usually very easy to spot just because they're so small in comparison to everything else. So here is another mung bean that's sprouted. Unsprouted is very, very small and darker green, and the sprouted is bigger and it's a lighter green. So this one, the unsprouted, you definitely do not want to eat. Here's one that absorbed water and would probably still be edible, but it didn't sprout, so I'm just going to take that one out as well. So now that these all have been pat dried, I'm just going to put them into a container that's lined with paper towel. And always take the beans from the top, so that way when you're doing this, you can still sift through and look for any beans that haven't been sprouted. And there we go. Now we've got a big container full of mung bean sprouts. Just put a lid on them. You can keep them in the fridge for quite a few days. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your sprouts.